Hi, everybody. Hi, Ron. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Tasha. You're not going to say, give me three choices? Who was the dude who said, give me three choices? Where were you? Give him a round of applause. The guy listened. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I'm Canadian, so if America is a salad, I guess I'm the celery. Bland and boring, filled with water. If only I had a little bit of Thousand Islands or Italian dressing to put on me or something. Just give me three choices. Such a great way to finish the day. It's a weird year, isn't it? Weird stuff going on all over the place. February 18th, 2016 was a very weird day. Something happened on February 18th that hadn't happened in a really, really long time. Jerry Seinfeld was in New York, as he often is, performing at the Beacon Theater. And normally, the guy who opens for Jerry Seinfeld is a guy named Tom Papa. He's a very accomplished comedian. Sadly, he's now known just as the guy who opens for Jerry Seinfeld. But he's very accomplished. But not on February 18th. Because on February 18th, the announcer came over the sound system and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Jerry Seinfeld Show. Please welcome your special guest, Steve Martin." Now, Steve Martin is number 6 on the top 100 stand-up comedians of all time, as voted by Comedy Central. He's number 6. He was the disruptor in the late 60s, early 70s. Used it to great success. I mean, he changed the way stand-ups looked. He changed the way they acted. He changed whether they telegraphed punchlines, whether they used punchlines. Oh, to massive, incredible success all the way through. This guy's killing it. In the 80s, he starts selling out stadiums. And in 1981, Steve Martin looks out, and for the first time in a stadium crowd, he sees something for the very first time in his career: a block of empty seats. That night, boom, Steve Martin quit doing stand-up comedy. He did not do it again for 35 years until February 18th of 2016. He's number 6 of all time. How's this guy had a career? He hadn't done it in 35 years. What he did was he constantly reinvented himself. He didn't get comfortable with the thing that made him successful through those early years. He continually reinvented himself. Boom, he went from stand-up. Boom, starts writing plays. Boom, starts writing music. Boom, starts writing novels. Boom, starts writing for the New Yorker. Up until last year, he became the lead curator of the Lauren Harris exhibit all around North America. How do you go from being the jerk to being a lead curator of a Lauren Harris exhibit? Well, what you do is you constantly reinvent yourself. Because that's what great brands do, right? I mean, when you look at the top 10 brands, these are the top 10 global brands from 2016, they're not the Johnny-come-latelys of Snapchat and everybody else. These guys have been around a long time. And they've been killing it. And how they get there and how they stay there is they constantly reinvent themselves. Apple started as a hardware software manufacturer. Now they make up 42% of the global profits from smartphones. Google started as organizing the world's data. They bought Nest, the thermostat company. Had to create Alphabet, a separate holding company. IBM, on the count of 3, you tell me, what do the letters IBM stand for? 1, 2, 3. Guess who doesn't make business machines anymore? At the same time, I'm going to slightly contradict myself here. No organization in the history of the world has ever changed. Because organizations don't change. People do. And we can talk about what we need to do with our brands, with our institutions, with our organizations, but until we bring it down into the trenches, until individual people, to you and you and you smartass, and you make a different decision today than you made yesterday, it doesn't go anywhere. We as individual people have to reinvent ourselves if we want our brands and our organizations to reinvent themselves. But it's not easy. Look closely. This is how difficult change is. Sorry, if we could see that slide. There we go. That's how difficult change is. You may support the change, you may buy into the change, you may promote the change. Come on, honey, we gotta get a new F10 pickup truck, right? But every day when you show up, you by default want to do the exact same thing you did yesterday. Now here's why it's critically important. This is 2005, this is the death of Pope John Paul II outside the Vatican, and some of you may have seen this before. So I want to take a really good look at this. So we're going to jump ahead. We go from 2005, same location. 8 years later, we go from that to that. Now, as marketers, the problem with this, and certainly what people have used this photo for a lot, is to say, whoa, hey, it's a mobile world, man. You as marketers better start creating apps, having a mobile responsive website, and 100% that's important. But that's not the most important thing. It's not the device. It's not the thing. That's going to continue to change. It's the stuff on the thing. And the stuff on the thing right now is amazing. Because three things happened. One, cost of production came down almost overnight to the point that every single one of you can shoot and cut a broadcast quality TV show with the phone in your pocket. That's not new. That's not rocket science. Second thing, we got global instantaneous distribution through the internet. Again, nothing new. But when you combine a really low cost of production, global instantaneous distribution, what you end up with is a desire to create and consume niche content. So what's your real name? Rob? So if Rob's a freak. Rob loves to knit in a weird, freaky way. It's his most favorite thing in the world. In the past, he had a magazine and that was it. Low cost of production, massive distribution. Now Rob can sell his stuff on Etsy. He can watch instructional videos on YouTube. He can join a Facebook live chat of other people knitting around the world. He can download the world's best patterns. The thing he loves more than anything, especially his personal finances, he can now geek out on 24/7. And he can do it at home, and he can do it in the car, and he can do it on the job. Rob, no. This is my friend Warren, who owns a private wine management company. He's at work. He loves golf. This is during the Masters last year. He's got 5 different feeds of the thing he loves. What I love most is his status update. I'm predicting low productivity at the office for the next couple of days. That's what you're up against. You're not competing against other financial institutions. You're competing against the internet. And quite frankly, it's kicking your ass right now. Because right at this point, with Warren and golf season, you're going to show up with a direct mail piece? So it's something we call the expression economy. And there's two things that are critically important for you. First of all, your customers are way more creative than you are. They don't have to go to legal. They don't sell it within a regulatory framework. They don't have to get everybody on board. They kick it out, they do it, while you're still trying to book a boardroom to get the people to make the decision and do the thing, right? They're doing stuff like that. Yeah, this is what you do, right? They're like, hey, Sally, we need a sign. All right, you get people together and you're like, we need a sign. What do we say? Well, should we say warning? No, that'll scare them. Todd, yeah, I don't think the I should be capitalized in that. I think. And there's someone with the brand standards is like, we're using the wrong fonts, guys. We're using the wrong font. Then you give it to your internal designer, and he's like, yeah, put a square box around it. That's my thing. Yeah, that's my thing. And you get 3 quotes, and you ship it out, and you get Jimmy, your handy guy, who comes in once a week. He hangs it for you. It's an important message. And you put time, and you put resources against it, and the production value is really great. And this is where it gets really frustrating as a marketer. You did everything you were supposed to do, and it looks great. And within 30 seconds, an intern with a Sharpie and a napkin comes along and steals your focus. Your focus is being stolen. You got to win it back. Because here's the second part of the expression economy. People used to vote with their wallets. Now they vote with their time. If you can't win the battle for time, you're done. Most marketers are a bunch of people running around trying to check a box. What? Supposed to be on Twitter. All right. I don't know what's happening. We're on Twitter. Because it sucks. That's why. You're not winning the battle for time. That's the thing we should be evaluating. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to work on an assembly line. Now, I grew up down the road from a very large General Motors plant. You can imagine the type of beautiful village I lived in as a child. But we as marketers can learn from the car guys, right? Because they figured it out. Because then on an assembly line within an automotive factory, they have stripped out every single inch and ounce of inefficiency. Every single one. Every single person has a very specific job and a role and a responsibility. They have a metric which indicates their performance. And they don't mess with the assembly line because you have to produce a car within a certain profit margin. You don't mess with the assembly line. When they want to innovate, what they do is they build a concept car. They take the concept car off the assembly line and they say, we're going to do it just to do it. But here's the thing, there is no expectation of performance. There's no expectation of metrics. There are no benchmarks. They're doing it to do it. And maybe they say the gas cap works really well. We're going to take that and we're going to put it onto the assembly line. The problem in most marketing organizations is you're trying to innovate the assembly line at the same time as you're trying to build a concept car. The result is chaos. You have your core marketing vehicles. You need to put that stuff on an assembly line and make it as efficient as possible so you can save time and money to try out the stuff that are concept cars. We used to do management by walking around, and now we do management by reply all. We can't do that. Now, we need to be a rebel without a cause. With a cause. It's a typo. Because here's the thing. It's a really bad typo. It's like a whole other word that's a typo. Rebel with a cause. Because here's the thing, I speak to you from your customers. They're exhausted from getting pitch slapped, every single one of them. Everyone's got a pitch, everyone's got a promo, everyone's got an offer. You have to elevate the conversation to something they actually care about. They're exhausted from it. I mean, we have to talk about something that counts. I mean, this is why Red Bull's become a media property who happens to sell a beverage, opposed to a beverage company that pumps out product-focused advertising. They believe in something greater. They connect with people on values. And enough of those people will buy the beverage, and those that don't, that's totally cool. And then when you say you're going to do that, and you actually want to lead with product, people smell that a mile away. And I don't think Pepsi's a horrible organization. I think they're a wonderful organization. They got it wrong. They just chose the wrong P. They focused on product over purpose. And when you do that, people smell it. And I know what some of you are saying. No, but we have values. In fact, if you go to our website and you click our values, you'll see them listed there. And I say, I don't care about your values. Because they're really easy to write. They're not so easy to live. I shouldn't read your values, I should experience your values. Because they're really easy to write. Now, once we do that, and this touches on, builds on what Kelly was talking about, that we really have to know our audience. Because my friend Warren Tomlin is with IBM. He has this great insight that a person's last experience is their new expectation. That you don't compete against Starbucks, but you do. Because if somebody goes to Starbucks and they have a loyalty program and now they come to you and they go, I don't care that you're a bank. Or I know it's possible. And in the customization zone, I mean, Netflix has millions of customers around the world, and they've been able to operationalize customizing that product for individual people, not segments. Because that's when you go, oh no, we know our audience. Her name's Sheila, she's 42 years old, she drives a minivan. No, individual people. This is in my own house. They go, whoa, is this Ron or is this Christy, my wife? Because if it's Ron, well, your Netflix is the gunman and the killing. But if it's Christy, it's Scandal, and Orange is the New Black. Completely. Now, when I go to Vancouver, I like to stay at a place called the Westin Grand. It's a great hotel. It's lovely. And I was there once, and I said, Oh, by the way, I love the Western Grand. And they said, we love you too. When are you staying with us again? I'm like, I'm here now. So they go, well, is there anything we can do to make your stay better? And I said, yeah. There was no shampoo in the hotel room this morning. And women, you're going, who cares? You bring your own. No, I'm a dude. We don't. Whatever's on the counter is what we're using. And if there's nothing on the counter, the bar of soap it is. Right? Are you with me on that? You're good? Okay, you're good. All right, you're good. Bar of soap it is. So they apologize. They say, oh, it's in your room now. And I go, amazing, thank you, total first world problem. Got the shampoo. And then they send up fruit and chocolate and a note saying, thanks for being such a loyal guest. I'm like, it's amazing. So I talked about it all over the world. Next time I come back, I see this note. I check into the room. I go to the room. I see this. Dear Ron, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you stay with us again. We're truly grateful for the kind words you say about us during your speaking engagements. To show our appreciation, please enjoy these snacks. We hear they're your favorite, as well as a couple of personal touches in your suite. Stay well at the Westin Grand. Now, those that know me really well know that I can exist completely on two things: Diet Coke and barbecue chips. I know, you're looking at me, you're like, how do I get the body of a champion? Clearly. Huh? That is how you do it. I go in the room, they got 2 Diet Cokes and 3 homemade barbecue chips. It gets better, because I go in the bathroom, they got 20 shampoos. It gets better. I go in the bedroom, they got a photo of me downloaded from the internet, put in a silver frame with a note that says, hope this feels like home. Compare that to a photocopied letter from the general manager that says, dear guest. What's crazy is that my wife works with a large homeless population. She's very private. And I go, oh my God, look what they did. And she goes, well, they're lucky that picture wasn't of me in the frame. That would have been creepy. So the next time I went to the hotel, I told the guy, hey, my wife said it would have been creepy. And he goes, yeah, actually, we have a policy. We'll only put pictures of people who are staying in the room in the frame, because you never know who's bringing who to a hotel room. I told my wife that, and she's like, what are you talking about? You are not going to Vegas, my friend. Finally, what we really need to do to connect with people and win the battle for time is be completely anti-establishment. Because when you look at the disruptors in any category, they are simply solving the problems the establishment can't or won't. Folks, you're the establishment. I mean, the hand dryers, right? I mean, all of us would go into restaurants and punch those horrible hand dryers and almost do the exact same thing, right? Brrr. And what we do, all of us. What are you gonna do, right? They got you. Nobody said anything. Nobody went on Yelp and said the hand dryer sucked. Nothing. It's not a problem until somebody solves it. And Dyson comes in and solved a problem proactively. That's being anti-establishment. Because the establishment is you. And you're all joining in conferences and you're talking about the same thing. And what are you doing? You're charging 17%. I'm going to charge 16.5%. Booyah, yeah, right? Check out any category. The disruptors are solving the problems the establishment can't or won't. Nobody was complaining about taxi cabs. Nobody was complaining about hotels. Dollar Shave Club, are you kidding me? You'd go into a pharmacy or drugstore and you're like, it's $45 for razor blades. I don't know, what are you gonna do? Brrr, they got you, right? But here's the thing, there's a great anti-establishment song called The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. There's no better theme song for what we're doing right now. The revolution won't be televised. Netflix shouldn't stood a chance against Blockbuster. They woke up one day and it was gone. All of it. You're not going to get a press release telling you that a competitor's nipping at your heels. The revolution will not be televised. And the other part of being anti-establishment is that the establishment is all perfect. The establishment is every period, every colon, every comma is in its place. Everything looks perfect because you don't want to be perfect or you don't want to be imperfect. When we talk about authenticity and corporate culture and corporate personality and you as an individual, your own personality, that being real is really being comfortable with your imperfections. Because the establishment wants us to be too perfect. And the disruptors are saying we're not going to do that. In tone and language, we went from George Carlin reminding us that the establishment said there are these 7 words you cannot say. And we went from there to Dollar Shave Club saying our blades are effing great. Solving the problems the establishment can't or won't. There's no better visual example than this. The establishment does it this way. Every single person, everywhere, every hotel, every restaurant. This is the way you do it. And the second somebody says, let's switch it up a little bit, there's some negative Nancy or negative Norm who goes, they're not going to know it's a washroom. And Brad goes, well, she's got a point, maybe. Let's just do what everybody else is doing just in case. My favorite example of this is, and you can keep the slide up, guys. My favorite example of this, I live in Toronto, and it's the Toronto District School Board. It's the largest school board in the country. And school boards have to be really, really careful with how they talk to kids, obviously helicopter parents. And so a child writes to them and says, at TDSB, it's really chilly outside. Are you sure I have to go to school tomorrow? They reply, hello again, Alex. Your spelling indicates you should go to school tomorrow. School is cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your stay. Have fun. Thanks so much.